Hey there, welcome to Rachie Oti Mum. Last week I posted about a challenge that I'd set up for myself, 30 minutes of play, of child-led play with my children for 30 days. I was struggling with their behavior and I was looking at if working on our connection and our attachment, I could really help them out. They were listening to me and help build on our relationship to encourage better behavior. So it's been really interesting. So I think the first 3 times we ended up they chose to go down to the dam and collect bugs. And this is something they do quite often, but of course now it was the added bonus that Mum was with them. On the 3rd day, we came back with Benji, had a tick on him, so I think they decided that was enough collecting bugs. And that was really nice. It was really easy for me, just being outside, just getting excited about the bugs with them. I found that really easy. On the 4th day, they chose to do some really nice gross motor play on the swings outside. They asked me to push them on the swings, and then we included throwing a ball and swinging and kicking it with their legs, and we built on the play, and it was really fun. They were both really regulated because they're getting a lot of sensory input, a lot of proprioceptive and vestibular sensory input. I also felt really great because it was just before bath time, and it was in the evening. It was cool. I knew it was a great wind down activity. And then the weekend came, and then it was really hard because we'd been setting our time. In my last video, if you haven't seen it, go and check it, but I spoke about how I use a sand timer, a 30-minute sand timer, so they have a visual cue of how long we've got together and how long they're in charge and they can choose what we play. So when the weekend came, it was our day was a little less structured, and so I found that we didn't actually use the timer, and it was just about me being really conscious of when I was playing with them or not. And when I saw an invitation or an opening, I would just sort of slot in, and that's how we did our half an hours. But it's incredible how much they've absolutely loved it. Every morning they wake up and ask for their half an hour, and I have to tell them it happens after school because we can't fit it in. But there are a few learnings and a few lessons that I've had from it already. And the first one is that it trumps anything. If I say to them, guys, do you want your half an hour now? It trumps anything. And I mean iPad, I mean screens, TV, playing with friends. They really just want to play with me, and in that really fun child-led way. And it's quite different because doing activities with me doesn't trump anything. If I say, come guys, let's make a this, or let's do a this, or why don't we draw this? It doesn't trump anything. But if I say, guys, half an hour of play with Mum, you get to choose what we do. And they don't even choose anything out of the ordinary, but they will always go for that above anything else. So that's been really interesting to see. I wrote my points up here, hold on. Then quite interestingly, it's actually been quite a challenge to me. So, the collecting bugs and the outdoor play, I found it very easy to do child-led play. And then on Sunday, we'd gone out, Sunday or Saturday, we'd gone out to the beach and we were tired and everyone was tired. And Benji said to me, Mom, will you play superheroes with me? So I was like, cool, here we're going to do it. We're going to do our half an hour. I didn't put the time on. I was just like, I'm just going to slot in. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to play with them. But what was so interesting for me was a lot harder in a pretend play scenario for me to do child-led. I found myself wanting to create the narratives. I found myself wanting to influence the play. And I got a bit frustrated because we kept having to play out the goodies fighting the baddies, and I was like, but where does the story go? And that was really where they were. And then the other aspect was, Joey joined us, and my older son, and he tried to take control of the narrative and the play, and he wanted to create things, and then Benji was messing with what he wanted to play with, and I found myself getting really irritable and really cross with him. And I had to remind myself constantly, this is not what it's about. It's not about creating this fair play where everyone's doing what they should be doing. It's about just going with it and building on ideas and letting your children play at the point that they want to. So that was quite a challenge for me. And then the other thing that I've really noticed is it's making me a much more patient mum. So I did this in the hopes that it would make our connection stronger, and that would make my children's behavior better. But what I found is that I'm feeling more connected to the children. So this morning, it's Joey's first week of grade 1. It's an exhausting time for him. And he cried from 6:30 until 7:15 this morning. He cried that he didn't want to go to school, that he was too tired. And, getting ready for work and getting Benji ready for school and chasing the dog that they've let out the house into the road, and all these things. Normally I probably would have lost my temper, but I think because I'm feeling far more in tune with them and far more connected to them, it gave me more patience with him. And I was able to sit with him and say, like, okay, that's all right, boy. I understand it's hard. And I wasn't trying to solve the problem. And I think when we do child-led play, we allow them their space. And we're not trying to create the narrative or the story or the control or the direction in the play. And so I in our own situation, I could do that, and I could be like, I know, it's hard, I know, and I could just hug him and love him, and by the time he walked off to school, he was fine, and he was regulated, and he was happy. I mean, it was definitely the best way to deal with it, and I do think that my managing of that has improved with our daily connection. So I'm going to keep going. I don't have any footage of what we do because it's no screen, so my phone is far away. I don't want them to feel in any way like they are competing with anything for my attention, because that will really jeopardize what I'm doing. So I don't have any footage of it, but I hope you guys are still going. I hope it's going well. Share your stories. Let me know if you found out anything and if you're enjoying exploring this process. And if you haven't joined us, you still can. 30 minutes a day for 30 days of child-led play, where you just join your child. No rules, except I've made that they don't fight with each other, that it's not dangerous, and that there are no screens. Okay, 30 minutes, 30 days. Join me.